First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has been urged to thank Prime Minister Boris Johnson for rejecting the EU's vaccine procurement scheme. Of course, Brexit, Britain pushing ahead independently, and Nicola Sturgeon set to have her first dose of the jab today, it's being reported, being urged by the Scottish Conservative leader Douglas Ross to thank Boris Johnson for keeping the UK outside of the EU's procurement scheme. And the Scottish Conservative have also been making the point, made the point earlier this month, that more than 1.5 million fewer Scots would have been vaccinated under the EU scheme based on the average rate across the bloc. By the way, for context, I'll bring up the latest international comparison on vaccines here. Now, before we go into a bit more of what Douglas Ross, the Scottish Conservative leader, had said, of course, ahead of the May elections, let's just look back, because it wasn't that long ago. Let's look back to July 2020. Matt Hancock making the point that signing up to the EU programme on vaccines would leave the UK without decision-making role in negotiations over purchases, making the point then that Britain would not join the EU programme on vaccines. Of course, a very wise decision. And the Health Secretary at the time saying that ministers had taken that decision after Brussels confirmed that the UK would have to abandon its own procurement efforts, which were at a more advanced stage, in order to take part in the scheme. That was being reported at the time. Now, of course, at the time, the SNP tore into this. As was reported, the SNP's then shadow Brexit Secretary Dr. Philippa Whitford quoted as saying, "At a time when the UK should be accelerating efforts to work with our EU partners towards finding a vaccine, it is concerning," she said, "that the UK government has instead rejected the opportunity to take part in yet another EU-wide programme. The UK government," she said, "short-sighted and increasingly isolationist approach does nothing but hinder the ability to tackle the virus effectively." It just shows you, doesn't it, just how very wrong these people were. All the way through, they seem to, and I suspect many of them still do, they think the sun shines out the backside of Brussels and that the EU can do no wrong. Perfectly apparent to anyone willing to look at the facts that the UK acting independently outside of the EU was absolutely the most effective and right thing to do. Michael Russell, president of the SNP, also quoted or tweeted in July 2020, quoting the story as saying, "This idiotic refusal," he said, "is all about Brexit and nothing to do with the pandemic. It will cost lives," he claimed at the time. Well, of course, the SNP hopelessly wrong on that, along with hardcore Remainers. And the Scottish Conservative leader Douglas Ross asked if Nicola Sturgeon should thank Boris Johnson. He responded by saying, "Yes, absolutely. I think the SNP comments from a number of ministers at Holyrood and senior SNP politicians at Westminster at the time on the approach that the UK government took have been shown to be false, hollow and completely wrong." Douglas Ross went on to say if Nicola Sturgeon had her way, she would take an independent Scotland back into the European Union, and there would be well over 1.5 million fewer doses of the vaccine available here in Scotland, and it would be some time yet before Nicola Sturgeon was due to get a vaccine, rather than just a matter of hours. I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath for that show of gratitude from Nicola Sturgeon to Boris Johnson, but it does show you Brexit Britain, outside of the EU, having taken back control, making its own decisions, nimble, agile, responsive, a massive advantage over a bureaucratic EU mess. As ever, guys, if you enjoyed this report, please do give this video a big thumbs up. Do check out my new show, The Snap. I'll put a link down below. And if you want to support my channel, do hit the join button. Would really appreciate your support. And of course, thanks for watching.